You may believe that waking up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom is harmless, but the truth is that many sudden deaths occur in those quiet hours, not because of illness that had been building for years, but because of the way people rise from their beds. Seniors who wake suddenly often feel dizzy or weak, and some never make it back to bed. The hidden danger is that the brain and the heart are caught off guard, and without warning, circulation falters. In this video, I will reveal 3 simple steps you must follow at night to protect your brain and your heart from this silent threat. Before we dive in, if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you find value in this video, type 1 in the comments. And if not, just type 0 to let me know how I can improve. Part 1. How sudden nighttime movements disrupt blood flow to the brain. The danger that many seniors never consider is the act of rising suddenly from sleep, especially when waking to use the bathroom at night. It may feel routine, something you have done for years, but the body of an older adult is not the same as it once was. When you are asleep, your brain enters a state of reduced activity. Your heart rate slows, and your blood vessels relax. Blood pressure drops naturally during rest as part of the body's circadian rhythm. The problem arises the moment you are startled awake and attempt to leap from bed too quickly. In that instant, your nervous system is unprepared, your vessels are still relaxed, and your heart has not yet increased its output to match the demand of standing. This is when blood flow to the brain can suddenly fall. Doctors call this phenomenon nocturnal hypotension or orthostatic hypotension, and it can trigger dizziness, fainting, or in severe cases, stroke and cardiac arrest. Imagine your brain as a city that depends on constant electricity. When you are asleep, the city runs in low power mode. If suddenly every light and machine switched on at once, the grid could fail. In the same way, when you stand up too quickly at night, the supply of oxygen to the brain lags, the heart strains, and collapse can occur before you realize what is happening. Real cases show that some patients who appeared healthy during the day suffered sudden loss of consciousness at night, sometimes after only a few steps toward the bathroom. Family members often describe hearing a sudden thud, then finding their loved one on the floor. While younger adults may recover quickly, seniors face much higher risks because arteries are stiffer, the heart muscle less responsive, and blood pressure control less flexible. Research published in journals of geriatric medicine confirms that sudden changes in posture during the night are linked to a sharp rise in nighttime cardiovascular events. It is not only fainting we worry about. When the brain is briefly starved of blood, even for seconds, delicate cells may be injured over time. Repeated episodes can contribute to memory decline, imbalance, or small strokes that accumulate silently. Symptoms such as blurred vision, ringing in the ears, chest tightness, or sudden weakness after rising should never be ignored. They are the body's alarms telling you that circulation is failing. If you think this is rare, consider how many times you yourself or someone you know has felt dizzy when getting up at night. Most dismiss it as aging or fatigue, yet it is a red flag pointing to much deeper vulnerability, and this is only the beginning of what you need to know. If this surprised you, wait until you hear about the direct impact that sudden nighttime movements can have on your heart in Part 2. Part 2. The hidden strain on the heart when you rise too quickly. When we think about sudden death at night, most people imagine a hidden heart attack striking without warning, The reality is more complex. The heart, like the brain, follows a rhythm during sleep. At rest, your pulse slows, your blood pressure falls, and the demand on your heart muscle eases. This recovery is healthy during deep sleep, but it becomes dangerous if you shock the system by rising too quickly. The moment you sit up abruptly, your heart is asked to double or even triple its output to push blood against gravity to your head. For a young heart, this surge is manageable. For an older heart with stiffened arteries or narrowed vessels, the sudden strain can be overwhelming. It is like forcing a tired pump to push against a blocked pipe. Pressure builds instantly, sometimes leading to an irregular heartbeat, what doctors call arrhythmia, or even a complete stoppage of the heart's rhythm. Many seniors who collapse at night do not realize they suffered a lethal arrhythmia triggered by this sudden shift. Studies in cardiology journals confirm that nighttime cardiac arrests peak in the early morning hours, especially between 2 and 4 a.m., when blood pressure is lowest and when many people rise to use the bathroom. The stress of moving from a flat position to standing can cause a dangerous imbalance between oxygen supply and demand in the heart muscle. Imagine a car engine idling gently through the night. If you suddenly slam on the accelerator without warming it up, the engine may stall or even break. Your heart responds in the same way when jolted awake and forced to perform at full power without preparation. The symptoms can be subtle at first. Some seniors describe chest tightness, skipped beats, or shortness of breath after getting up. Others report sudden fatigue or weakness in the legs that forces them to sit back down. These are warning signals that the heart is under duress. Sadly, many dismiss them as minor or related to age, but they are red lights that should never be ignored. More frightening is that, in some cases, there are no warnings at all. A person may appear well, stand up to go to the bathroom, and collapse without a chance to call for help. Families often say it was as if the heart simply gave out in an instant. That is why understanding this hidden risk is so critical. Protecting the heart at night is not about avoiding the bathroom or ignoring natural urges. It is about respecting the body's need for a gradual transition from rest to wakefulness. By taking just a few simple steps to allow the heart and vessels to adjust, you give your circulation time to stabilize and prevent the deadly cascade that can strike when least expected. And if you think the brain and heart are the only organs affected, wait until you hear how these nighttime habits quietly damage balance, memory, and long-term independence in Part 3. Part 3. Balance, memory, and independence at risk from nighttime habits. Beyond the immediate dangers to the brain and the heart, sudden nighttime movements also place hidden stress on the body's balance system and long-term cognitive health. Many seniors believe that dizziness or unsteadiness when rising at night is just a normal sign of aging. But in truth, it is often a signal that the inner ear, blood vessels, and nervous system are struggling to coordinate. When you rise too quickly, the sudden drop in blood pressure leaves your balance centers without the oxygen they need. The inner ear, which acts like a gyroscope for the body, loses stability for a few seconds. During those moments, your legs may feel weak, your steps unsteady, and the risk of falling increases sharply. Falls at night are not minor incidents. They are one of the leading causes of fractures, head injuries, and loss of independence among older adults. A hip fracture, in particular, can be life-altering. Medical studies show that many seniors who suffer hip fractures never regain their previous level of mobility, and some are forced into long-term care. All of this can begin with something as simple as standing up too quickly after waking. At the same time, the brain itself suffers when blood supply is interrupted even briefly. Each time circulation falters, delicate brain cells are stressed. Repeated small episodes, sometimes lasting only seconds, can accumulate over the years into what neurologists call silent strokes or microvascular injury. The symptoms may be subtle at first: memory lapses, difficulty concentrating, or a sense of confusion when waking. Families often notice their loved one becoming more forgetful or less steady, but fail to connect it to these nighttime habits. Over time, however, the damage adds up and increases the risk of dementia and chronic imbalance. It is like tiny cracks forming in the foundation of a house. Each one seems harmless, but together they weaken the entire structure. Scientists have found that seniors who frequently experience dizziness upon standing are more likely to show changes on brain scans consistent with vascular injury. These findings explain why something as ordinary as the way you get out of bed can influence your risk of memory decline years later. Even the muscles and joints are not spared. Rising suddenly puts strain on weakened leg muscles and arthritic joints, sometimes triggering pain or stiffness that lasts through the following day. This pain discourages movement, leading to less exercise, which in turn weakens the body further. It becomes a vicious cycle where a single unsafe habit at night cascades into multiple health problems. The good news is that these risks are not inevitable. By changing the way you transition from sleep to wakefulness, you can protect your balance, preserve your memory, and maintain independence. And while this may sound complicated, the solution is remarkably simple. In Part 4, I will reveal a safe 3-step method that takes less than 2 minutes and can save your brain, your heart, and your life. Part 4. The 3-step 2-minute routine that protects your body. Now that you understand the dangers of rising suddenly at night, let us focus on the safe solution. The remarkable truth is that protecting your heart, brain, and balance does not require medicine or expensive equipment. It only requires a careful 2-minute routine that every senior can follow. The first step is simple. After waking, remain lying on your side, preferably the left side, for about 1 minute while taking deep, slow breaths. This position allows your heart to adjust gradually, helps your circulation stabilize, and reduces the pressure on your major blood vessels. Breathing deeply sends oxygen through your system and signals your nervous system that it is time to shift from rest to wakefulness. Many patients report that even a minute in this posture makes them feel calmer and more steady before moving further. The second step is to slowly push yourself into a sitting position on the bed and remain seated for about 30 seconds. Keep your feet still on the mattress. Relax your shoulders and allow your eyes to adjust to the light. In this phase, gravity begins to pull blood downward, but because you are seated rather than standing, your vessels and heart have time to respond. This gentle transition prevents the sudden drop in blood pressure that can otherwise cause dizziness or fainting. It is like allowing the engine of a car to idle before pressing the accelerator. Seniors who practice this step consistently notice fewer dizzy spells and less chest discomfort when getting up. The third step is to place your feet on the floor, keeping your body on the edge of the bed, and remain in this position for another 30 seconds before standing fully. At this point, the muscles in your legs begin to activate, helping pump blood back to the brain. You may wiggle your toes or flex your ankles to encourage circulation. This final pause ensures that when you do stand, your body is ready. your balance is steady, and your brain is receiving adequate oxygen. These 3 steps together take less than 2 minutes. Yet the protection they offer is immense. Doctors who teach this method to their patients report dramatic reductions in nighttime falls, dizziness, and even hospital admissions related to fainting. Families often share stories of loved ones who previously felt fragile at night but regained confidence simply by adopting this small routine. Some even say they sleep better knowing they have a safer plan when nature calls at night. Remember, this is not only for seniors with known heart or brain problems. Even younger adults can benefit, especially those with high blood pressure, diabetes, or vascular disease. The principle is the same. Give your body time to adapt, and it will reward you with stability and safety. If you think 2 minutes is too long, consider how quickly a fall or a sudden collapse can change a life forever. These 2 minutes are not wasted. They are an investment in your independence and longevity. And now that you know the method, let us bring everything together in the conclusion, where I will share why it is never too late to protect yourself and your loved ones from this silent nighttime risk. It is never too late to protect your brain, heart, and life. We have walked together through the hidden dangers of waking suddenly at night and the simple yet powerful steps that can protect your brain, your heart, your balance, and your independence. Let me remind you once more that what often seems like a small habit can have life-changing consequences. Many seniors think dizziness, chest pressure, or sudden weakness when rising are just natural parts of aging. But as you now understand, they are warnings from your body that circulation and stability are under threat. Ignoring them is like ignoring the smoke alarm in your home. You may escape once. You may escape twice. But eventually the fire will burn. By respecting the body's need for a slow transition, you give your brain oxygen. You give your heart stability. And you give your muscles strength to carry you safely through the night. The good news is that it is never too late to begin. Whether you are 60, 70, or 80, your body still remembers how to heal and how to adapt. Every night you choose to follow the 3-step routine, you are retraining your system to protect itself. Families who practice this together often find peace of mind, knowing that their loved ones are safer even during the most vulnerable hours. Imagine how many tragedies could be prevented if every senior learned this simple 2-minute practice. Fewer falls, fewer midnight emergencies, fewer sudden deaths that leave families in shock and grief. That is why I urge you not to keep this knowledge only for yourself. Share it with your parents, your spouse, your siblings, and your friends. This is a gift of life that costs nothing but may save everything. Remember that your independence, your memory, and your ability to enjoy each new day are worth protecting. You do not need expensive treatments or complicated machines to guard them. You need awareness, discipline, and a willingness to act on what you now know. Before we close, I want to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you have learned from this video and plan to apply in your own life. Let us support each other on this journey towards safer nights and healthier mornings. If you enjoyed this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0, so I know how to improve future content for you. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another health tip made especially for seniors who want to live longer, stronger, and safer lives. Your health is precious. Your future is still full of possibility. And by respecting even the smallest details of how you care for your body, you ensure that tomorrow will be brighter than today. Protect your brain, protect your heart, and treasure the gift of life every single night.